Yep, sure. So my name's Tom Markovich. I bought this property in August 2020, and it needed a full makeover. The entire property was gutted. Actually, the only thing remaining in the property are really the four walls. We even changed the mortar in between. So energy efficiency was a key thing we were looking to do. And not just actually getting the external insulation on the outside for the energy efficiency, we also wanted something which looked really good. So it was sort of a two-in-one, getting the external render. And that's when we started looking for a company to help us with that, because it's a big project. We did a lot of things ourselves, but that one being so large and critical. We did a bit of Googling and found ShapeUp. So at the time, there was the Greens Home Grant available. And so we were looking for approved providers. I think that was the term they used. And we reached out to about 5 companies. And just from the outset, ShapeUp was a lot better than the others because of the responsiveness, also the honesty, because every provider promised to get things done, say they would come over and view the property within 3 days, a week, 2 weeks. Bogdan, who is the manager of ShapeUp, actually came when he said he was going to come, and everything he said actually happened. The quote was quite efficient. It was also very competitive, and we were just really impressed. And that's why we chose ShapeUp to do the project. Because the whole property was sort of a full makeover, we didn't really know how the project performed. With its energy efficiency or anything. We knew it had a D when we bought the property, and it's since been reclassified to a C, so it has improved. We were told by our EPC, the person who did the EPC for us, that it would actually be impossible really to bring us to a B without doing a full solar on the roof and some pretty extreme things, maybe a gas pump, because we have a solid walls. So really that's the best it was ever going to get. So it did bring us up one classification. But I know from our energy bills, bearing in mind it's a 4-bed house, we pay about probably £600 a year on gas. So that seems pretty low, I think. Yeah. So it seems to be doing the job. We wanted the silicon render from our research. It looked like it was the longest wearing. It also looked quite attractive. And then, you could have all in the different colours, but actually we just went for a default one anyway. We like the colour. Easy to patch, and we added a bit to the porch actually recently at the front of the property. And that actually, again, that's a good thing about working with ShapeUp and Bogdan in particular, just WhatsApping him. He very quickly told me the colour code and actually imported a couple products of the render from, I think it was Austria, so that we could colour match it perfectly. It's just going above and beyond. We've had some other, we've done a lot of the work ourselves, as I said, but other contractors we've worked with have just not been as good. So, anyone who needs external insulation, I really do recommend ShapeUp. And my dad used you guys to do his property afterwards.
Oh, really?
You don't often meet that many people who need the whole house rendered, but if they do come across, you guys would be the first I'd recommend for sure. So as I said, we reached out to about 5 different companies, and they just, they promised things and they just didn't deliver. So it was more even just coming around to get a quote. They say they're going to come on Thursday afternoon. Thursday afternoon comes and goes. You call them up, just trying to get them to visit the property. Doesn't happen. Over-promising, and then just not delivering. It's mainly just if you say you're going to come, you need to come. And then if you say once you've come to just give us the quote, there was delays. I remember it was quite a few years ago, so that's all I really remember from the time. But it was every company was like that. And your company was the only one which wasn't like that. And then we actually worked with you. Project was meant to start on whatever date it was, and you guys showed up. It was all done in, I think, about a week. Maybe there was a little bit of clear up, so maybe 2 weeks total. But it was done really quickly, and efficiently. So, So we were doing a lot of projects at the same time. So you guys showed up, relatively early in the morning. Each day, there wasn't any gap, starting project and then suddenly, 2 weeks they don't show up because you're prioritizing other work. It was, we started say on a Monday. Your team would do a full day's work. The scaffolding was also really efficient. I think you guys organised the scaffolding probably. So that went up, a couple of days before, and was also taken down when we wanted. I think we actually asked for it to be extended for a couple of weeks. So we were doing our own projects, and that was all, easily done. We weren't charged extra or anything, and so that was really helpful. So we just sort of let you get on with it while we were doing some internal work with the property, because it was still quite early stages. We might have been fitting, the kitchen or bathroom or something at the time. So, always, even coming into the house, even though it was a bit of a building site, still not making a mess inside, asking if shoes need to be taken off and all those sort of things. It was just very, very professional. It was all excellent, just no complaints at all. It was going above and beyond, not just doing what you say you're going to do. I remember we wanted the wall rendered as well, because the wall was our front garden wall was in a poor state. We didn't need knocking down and rebuilding, but it just needed something to make it look more attractive, especially when the rest of the house is going to look a lot better. So we just added that onto the job, and then that was also rendered. And then I think we had a bit of waste to take away, and because you were going to the you do your own waste management after the project, you didn't mind just taking a few of our objects too. So that was all excellent as well. It's hard to compare just because the house was a complete state. I wasn't living in it because everything was just redone from the outset. But in terms of maintenance, basically we chose the product because there's no maintenance, so we haven't had to do anything except I've jet washed sort of the bottom half of the house once in 4 years, and it made it look a little bit better because it was a bit dirty. But that's mainly because we were doing so much garden work. I was bringing a lot of soil to the front, and just the weathering and whatever. So again, I can't really compare because we did, and also energy prices went crazy when we moved in with everywhere. So all I know is that since it's been installed, energy bills have been roughly £600 a year for gas, which seems on the low side for a 4-bed house. So that's for heating. Well, the heating only comes on in November, and we have it on for about till probably about the end of March. So we only have it on for about 5 months of the year. The thermostat comes on when it gets to below 19.5. So we knew it was good stuff. So I'd say it's met expectations. It's just a really good product. We know it had I can't remember if it was a 10-year guarantee or a 20-year guarantee, but we know it's supposed to last 20, 25 years without any needing to do anything. And for the last 3-4 years, it's been as I say, it looks like it was installed yesterday. So really happy.
Goes on, forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea. I guess the professionalism. Bogdan was really easy to get hold of. He's someone who picks up the phone, replies to WhatsApps. There just weren't any issues. Tell a lie, there was one really minor issue. We noticed that an air brick had been accidentally covered. This was a whole year later of the project. I WhatsApped Bogdan when we noticed it. He comes round within 2-3 days, digs a little bit out, puts on the proper cover, just fixes it within 2-3 days, no hassle. So it's professional. You care about your work. It's done really well. It's done quickly at a fair price. It was just brilliant service from start to end. Definitely just go for it. If you want to get your house externally insulated, your company is the company to go to. So just go for it. I'm not really sure. I don't know if do you guys just do external insulation? If you maybe expand into some other areas, like support. But I can't remember if you did. To be honest, I can't even remember if you did some of our guttering and things and all sort of the ancillary services. You already cover all of that, but I don't know, maybe expand the remit so that there's a few, because I guess people who are doing this job are probably also getting a few other things done. If you just expand to those areas too. Yeah, absolutely. As I said, there's lots of reasons. The work is done really well. It's done efficiently. It's done professionally. The follow-up services are always really good. It's any issue down the line, Bogdan's really keen to help out. Absolutely.